Italians literally built the city, and the Italians literally did, in terms of contractors, again, and masons, and carpenters, and plasterers, and painters.
It was a hard life, leaving something like that. I mean, people today, it's a way of life. People move every 2 years, but in them days, you know, wherever you stayed, they stayed there for generations. And this was the same generations. The Chaburras, the Los Celas, the De Serbos, the Morgillos, Milanos, Falsignos.
We were all born on 460 Chapel Street. My 6 sisters and a brother. So, and my father, he lived there all of his life.
And don't fry
no potatoes. Well, Reconstruction gave us no choice but to go out to the suburbs. Yeah. And this is what happened to the neighborhoods. Yeah. And a lot of friends and relatives just for some reason, separated.
Worcester Square was one of the neighborhoods which we had earmarked for change. Worcester Square originally was a lovely neighborhood 200 years ago. It was beautiful housing, some of it abandoned, some of it used for doubles and triples and so on. And there were also some old tenements down there that were a disgrace to the word, even residents.
We were proud of what we had, and we maintained what we had. We didn't have much, but wherever we had, we cherished it.
We had not only Italians, we had a lovely black family. Everybody got along so beautifully. What was the reason? Couldn't the highway go over the water?
I don't recall anyone who continued to feel they had been struck a mortal blow.
The highway is a sore spot to me. I felt bad for my mother. My mother would, she had a nice rapport with her customers, and in the afternoon she'd put on a clean apron, and they came to shop. In the back of the store she had a little kitchen, and after they did their shopping, she'd invite them in the back, and they'd have a nice espresso and chit-chat a little bit, and that's what she missed. She missed here. We looked all over for a house because she wouldn't go far. And then we had another problem. She didn't want to be alone.
When we started redevelopment, we were working constantly with the feds, rewriting legislation on the national level. Jack Kennedy and I were friends for a long time. I practically commuted to Washington. The mayors were always down in Washington. It's not modest to say this, but I was the leader in the discussions through Lyndon Johnson. In 1951, I lost the election by 2 votes out of 80,000. That was the most grinding kind of defeat anyone could accept.
There was one section of the city, however, where he had no success no matter what. The old 10th, 11th, and 12th wards, and particularly the 12th as it whittled down. No matter what happened, those were solidly Italian districts. He could not win, which for someone with the degree of political megalomania that he possessed was enough to drive him just mad.
Yeah, it was an Italian neighborhood, and obviously I'm not Italian.
What happened to this area? 2 major highways went through it. A stable, sound area suddenly found itself with the prospect of both I-95 and I-91 crisscrossing it. There was no question about what was going to happen and what did happen. The city and state began taking properties by eminent domain.
Very good, close friends. His intentions were good. He wanted to improve the city. He wanted to get some of them slum homes out of the city, which was fine. But sometimes too many homes went down, and so it turned out, a lot of times they turned out to be all parking lots.
You remember when they were knocking down the buildings? We used to go back to the neighborhood and watch our building get knocked down. Yeah. We used to cry.
We lived in the building that they threw down on Wallace Street. Over 100 years old. You could eat off the floors. We had showers. We had anything that a modern home has. They threw it down. What's there now?